everyone, my name is YANHUI, the speaker of this video. I will give you a brief introduction to my thesis. Okay, let's get a start. My title is Comparative Studies on the Psychological Stress of Chinese Postgraduate Students Studying in Malaysia and Thailand before and after during COVID-19 pandemic. First, research background. There are many factors that affect the speed of a country's development, such as politics, leadership, integrity, and so on, among which talent is one of the main factors. Therefore, internationally, students with an international perspective are important human resources to serve the high-quality development of a national economy. The outbreak of COVID-19 and changes in teaching method have brought Chinese students who are still studying abroad different experiences from previous years, such as delayed communication, online activities for all activities, electrical field for all assignment, and the problem of time and between countries. 20th century. YANHUI and Lazarus proposed that stress refers to the experience generated by the event experienced by the individual in the process of the growth and life, which can lead to psychological distress and disrupt individual psychological functions. Stress is an interaction between the environment and the individual and tends to increase negative distress, anxiety, disruption, and mood distress. Soon, etc. decided the mental health studies of Chinese students studied in the United States during the period of COVID-19, and near 50% of respondents and moderate to severe anxiety. Severe economic stress was significant, correlated with high stress, and the increase of economic stress would increase the psychological stress of Chinese students studying in the United States. Aerodynamic, etc. In a cross-section study of psychological stress among the Jordanian students, note that countermeasures during the COVID-19 pandemic may influence psychological stress most among students. The study showed that there is no significant difference in psychological stress between Chinese domestic students and Chinese overseas students during the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, this study compares the psychological stress of Chinese students studying in Thailand and Malaysia during the COVID-19 outbreak and provides certain reference value for promoting the rigorous development of international students' education in the future. Second part is the research questions. Number 1, to explore the degree of psychological stress among the Chinese postgraduate students in Malaysia and Thailand before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 2, explore the difference in grade, gender, place, regular job, and time among Chinese postgraduate students in Malaysia and Thailand before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 3, explore the factors influencing psychological stress among Chinese postgraduate students in Malaysia and Thailand before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 4, explore ways to actively cope with exception levels of psychological stress among Chinese postgraduate students in Malaysia and Thailand before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. The third part is the research method. First of all, this study is decided as a mixed method study. Hybrid method is an increased method, including the collection and integration, quantitative and qualitative data forms, and the use of different design of possible philosophical acception and theoretical frameworks. In the mixed method, quantitative and qualitative data are collected, analyzing, and mixed for certain stage of the research process in a single study. According to Chris Weil, the interpretative sequential mixed method is one of the approach in mixed method design, which can better attract individual. One clear defined quantitative backgrounds or form quantitative methods that are relatively new to qualitative methods. Research explained how the result of the qualitative research can help explain the quantitative result at the beginning of the research, because the strong qualitative data analysis will be followed by more in-depth analysis of the qualitative data. Next is the research instrument. The study studied the principal stress scale questionnaire compiled by Cohen, Clark, and Momerston. Internal consistency coefficients was 0.84, 0.85, and 0.86, respectively, with high reliability. The scale contains 14 questions, which can be used to calculate the total score or average score of each question, among which 1, 2, 3, 8, 11, 12, 14 are reverse questions, and 4, 5, 8, 7, 9, 10, 13 are for word questions. Next is the sampling. After determining the skill used in this study, the researcher conducted preliminary tests on some sample subjects, understanding the preparedness and predictability of the questionnaire. After reliability, validity, and factor analyzing, the effective questionnaire was established as a formal questionnaire. Investor. To interview decided to conduct an unstructured interview survey. Next is the data analyzing. Among the Chinese graduate students in Malaysia and Thailand in this studied sample, there are 21 doctoral students accounting for 48.7%, 24 master students accounting for 53.3%, 29 male students accounting for 64.4%. Of the total numbers, the 16 female students accounting for 35.6%. Malaysia has 23, accounting for 51.1%. Thailand has 22, accounting for 48.9%. The number of people with regular jobs is 34, accounting for 75.6%. The number of people without regular jobs is 11, accounting for 24.4%. There are 3 to 1 students who are graduated before the epidemic, accounting for 60.9%, and students who are graduated after the epidemic, accounting for 31.1%. Therefore, as shown in the table of independent sample data analyzing result, it is found that there is no significant difference in psychological stress T equal minus 0.437, P equal 0.64 among Chinese graduate students of different grade, Malaysia and Thailand. Psychological stress D equal minus 0.133 does not have effect according to the D effect test. Therefore, there is no significant difference in different grade of Chinese graduate students in Malaysia and Thailand according to the test, indicating that Chinese graduate students in Malaysia and Thailand for different grades was not be influenced by different grades. It found that there is no significant differences in psychological stress T equal minus 1.446 and P equal 0.155 among Chinese graduate students of different genders in Malaysia and Thailand. Psychology stress D equal minus 0.441 has no effect after the effect test. Found that there is no significant differences in psychological stress among Chinese graduate students in Malaysia and Thailand in different regions. T equal 0.231, P equaled 0.819. Its psychological stress D equaled 0.070 has a moderate effect. Found that there is no significant differences in psychological stress T equal method 1.175, P equals 0.247 between Chinese graduate students who have regular jobs in Malaysia and Thailand. According to the effect test, psychological stress D equal method 0.358 has no effect. We found that there is no significant differences in psychological stress T equal method 1.397, P equal 0.107 among Chinese graduate students in Malaysia and Thailand at different graduation times. Psychological stress D equal method 0.428 has one effect by the effect measures. However, there are differences in psychological stress. To sum up, there is no differences in psychological stress due to different background variables. Asked, is there any measure to prevent psychological stress? The respondents said they did not pay attention to psychological prevention but would make some preparation in advance for what might come. Most interviews believe that the most stressful part in a process of learning is the academic part, which will have a negative impact on psychological stress. Then there is impact of community and the society, which also has an impact on psychological stress. The last part is the conclusion. Through the questionnaire survey, it concluded that different backgrounds have no differences on the psychological stress of Chinese graduate students studying abroad. According to the interview data, psychological stress of Chinese overseas graduate students mainly comes from aspects academic pressures, the impact of COVID-19, and society. Research results show that in order to reduce the psychological stress of Chinese graduate students studying abroad, the adjustment from the 3 aspects of academic pressure, the impact of COVID-19, and the society will greatly reduce the psychological stress of Chinese graduate students studying abroad. Studies have also shown that 3 ways to reduce stress are effective: exercise, socializing with others, and eating delicious food. The staff who provide service for Chinese graduate students can help them relieve their psychological stress and solve their problems with ordinary maintenance by organizing activities related to fitness, communication with others, and delicious food. To sum up, this is the whole content for my thesis. Thank you for listening.